What's happening, my people? So you know what happens on the channel on these days right here. So Fear the Walking Dead, I've been talking about this whole season, man, and it's been very interesting. They had a lot of different crazy ass things going down, but this is season 6, episode 16. So we are at the end, season finale time. Let's get into this episode, man. Let's talk about what's happening. What's happening at the end of the world. The end of the world, at the end of the world, at the end of the world. This is apocalypse on top of apocalypse on, man. So we open with this scene, like they have this woman, she is changing a tire. And she's trying to put it, she's had a blowout. That's not how you change a tire. She's trying to pull the rubber off of the rim. Okay. She got the jack up and stuff. The jack looks like it's falling. The jack is about to fall off. The truck is about to fall. She sees this. She goes back underneath there and tries to pull the rim off, pull the rubber off of the rim. And the truck falls on her leg and breaks her leg like Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman. That's not how you change a tire. You put it on the lug nuts or whatever you call them. You loosen that. You loosen all of them. You take that off, and you take the tire off. That's how you change the tire. That's how you change the tire. You don't pull the rubber off of the rim while it's on the thing. Like that's not how you do it. Like what was she trying to accomplish? What was she trying to accomplish? Dog. Even if it wasn't the end of the world, it's So her leg is demolished. She tries to tie it up. She rigs it up, and she's walking on it like you're not walking on that leg. I've seen some of the hardest athletes. I've seen Chris Weidman and Anderson Silva and them. That's the times I go through. Paul George, Sean Livingston. I've seen some gruesome leg injuries in my lifetime, and I don't think they would be able to walk on those legs after breaking them. I don't care how tough she thinks she is or whatever. And so she sees it, like she hears on the walkie-talkie, and Morgan is kind of being grim. He's like, if you still here, you should make amends with, this is your last moments and stuff. And she like, no, I'm gonna make it. And then she's like, I guess I'm not gonna make it, but you are going to make it. So she's talking to a little baby, and she plans for her demise. She pulls her knife out. She ties the baby on her back. She ties her mouth up so whenever she turns into a walker, she won't be able to bite him. And she ties the dog around her because the dog is good at finding people and stuff. So she going to use herself as like a vessel to bring the baby towards some kind of civilization to try to save him. So she commits suicide like in a Japanese samurai type ish. She and kills herself. So basically she's gonna turn into a walker and they're gonna try to find civilization. So that was just the intro. I'm like, wow, this is a grim, depressing episode right here. I'm like, wow. So we have different little situations and scenarios in this episode. Everybody is going through their last moments and seeing where they're going to go, if they're going to survive and stuff. So Daniel and the crew, they are all together, and so they trying to figure out where to go. And they're trying to go to the place where Alicia is at. They listening to one of the people from Teddy's group, and he's like, oh yeah, we got this spot, it's like 15 miles. And Daniel is like, I heard coordinates and stuff, but nobody wants to listen to Daniel because you know he batshit crazy. Like he's lost his mind. It's like, who should we listening to? Who should we listen to? He's like, Daniel, we know you mean well, but so that's how that is going. Dwight and his little boo, they're alone together, and so she's like, look, if this our last moments, I wasted so much time trying to fight the evil and this and that when I should have been with you. We said if we would meet up with each other again, we'd get a beer and some pretzels and stuff. And so they find a house that they think is empty, and they're like, what we gonna do? We gonna get a beer and stuff. If this is our last moments. It turns out that somebody is in the house. They have a family, and they have a basement situation, or they have a basement. Is that what you call it? We don't have that in Louisiana. Like our stuff is like it's an attic or whatever. So basement, I guess, is lower. We don't have those, but so they have like an underground thing. But the people from Teddy's group have overtaken it. So they need to help them to get their stuff back, get their building back, to try to ride out this atomic bomb. Uh, Teddy and Dakota is together. Two of them, two fucking nut jobs, batshit crazy. Officer Dory finds them, and he's like, "Look, I forgive you. I forgive you, man. Don't listen to him. Teddy is a manipulator. He just needed you for the other key and stuff like that." So you don't know who she's going to listen to, Dory or Teddy. Uh, June comes out, and June helps with the situation and stuff. So they going back and forth, and it turns out like this whole time Teddy had a whole little bunker. Like he wasn't planning to kill himself and stuff. Like he was going to his bunker. He was trying to survive this thing. He wanted everybody else to die. Like he just crazy. And Dakota allowed herself to get manipulated. Victor ends up in a building full of walkers, and so he fights his way through the walkers and stuff. He gets to a room, and it has like a bunch of paintings. It has music playing, and they have this man in here. It's a dude from American Gods. If you have seen that on Stars. So I was looking. I know him. I was like, oh, that's dude from American Gods. Like he has some crazy scenes on there. So I'm not gonna. If you watch it, you know. But so they talk. And he's like, there were two men, and one was selfish. He wanted the glory for herself, and one was wanted to sacrifice themselves. And Homer's like, which one are you? I'm the one that wants to sacrifice myself. I'm Morgan Jones. So he's lying on his last moments to try to be a hero. Then we go to Morgan and Grace. They're together and their last moments and stuff. And she's like, I've seen what radiation does to people. Even if we survive this, we don't want to live in this kind of world. This is gonna be worse than Chernobyl, etc. Like so they plan to basically have like a suicide pact. And so they're close to each other. Morgan has the gun to his back of his head, and she's in front of him. So it's gonna kill both of them. And they're like, do you hear your baby? She's like, yeah, I hear my baby. And he's like, I hear it too. So it turns out there literally is a baby crying. And they hear it, they run outside, and it's the baby from the beginning of the episode that is attached to the mother. And the mother is somebody that was familiar from the community. You remember at the beginning of the season, Morgan was running from the bounty hunter and stuff, and they had a gentleman that he was with, and he got killed trying to save his wife and this and that, running from the bounty hunter. They had a baby. I think that's that baby and that woman. I could be wrong, but I think that's who that is. And so Morgan and them goes out, and he's like, this is a gift from Athena, from Grace's baby that didn't make it. And so they, instead of trying to die, like the bomb drops and they trying to save themselves. So everybody is dealing with what's happening at the time of the bomb. So Daniel and his crew, they are together, and Daniel figures it out that the dude that was driving, he was a traitor, and he was going towards Teddy in them group. He was just driving them in circles and stuff for them to die. And he figured it out. They went to the coordinates. The coordinates end up, I think that was Al. I think that was Al, man. And it was the helicopter and stuff. So they get to go in the helicopter. They ride off into the sunset. Bomb drops. Everybody is going through things like whatchamacallem, Dwight and them, they end up killing the people, and they go underneath the bunker. They save themselves. Dakota, she kills Teddy for he isn't able to see it. June and Dory, Officer Dory, they go underneath the bunker. Dakota stands out there. She looks at the bomb. She turns into ashes and stuff. Like she gets seared, and it's beautiful because we don't like her. We don't like her. Who else? Victor Stride. He's like, oh, I'm still here. My story that I told you. I'm not Morgan Jones. I'm Victor, and I am a scoundrel. Everything that I did, I still lived. I'm a survivor, and we're gonna build this world the way that we want. So he ends up being defiant, and he's a dick about the situation. So he's all happy that he was a hoe. Uh, Morgan and them, they jump underneath a truck, so they end up surviving, and he has the baby and stuff, and it's kind of like, damn, we were about to kill each other. I want to live now. And so you see the bombs in the background, and it's like, damn, what's gonna happen with the season, man? Like next season, the 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 backlash of like the radiation and this and that, they're gonna have a lot to go through. It was interesting, man. It was crazy. Like you don't think of a nuclear plot or something in a Walking Dead episode, but that's what happened. Like it was crazy, but it was interesting, man. And I want to see like whenever the season starts. I think that, man, were they gonna have a bunch of radioactive walkers? Will a lot of the walker population end up dying? Uh, Alicia, her bunker that was blown up. You seen that? But how is she gonna make it out of that thing? Will they find her? Will she be able to get out? Like, stay tuned. But yeah, interesting, interesting. I didn't get to the episode of 9 out of 10, man. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Uh, like, comment, subscribe. Gonna be the greatest and most hated man. Holla at your boy. Peace.